even after spending billions of dollars, we are unable to solve the cybersecurity problem. And one of the reasons for that was that we were always using yesterday's technology to solve today's problem.
So how long did it take to build the computer?
For quantum computer, we took around 1.5 years. The way it was so exciting was when the fridge came. Fridge was from glucose and we did fabricate outside. People were on the truck from the airport, Bengaluru airport to office, and we were all waiting in the basement for this to arrive. And that moment, it was unbelievable. Okay, finally we have this here, because we were waiting for 3 years. And the bigger moment will be next few years when we fabricate it here.
And that moment is a couple of years down the line?
No, next year.
Next year.
As long as my data is encrypted using quantum keys, it is unbreakable. Even quantum computer, most powerful quantum
so
computer,
he can't break into you.
Till the time the people don't encrypt it, he can break it. We built India world's first end-to-end SaaS quantum security SaaS platform. I went into US and presented this to few investors there, and they were little not convinced. But after some time, they said, we haven't heard this story anywhere. So that was the moment for me that India has arrived.
The US is far ahead. China is significantly ahead, especially as far as quantum, etc. is concerned. Where does India find itself?
There was an inventor of Wi-Fi. They did all the research. That's Bell Labs. And who became a leader in Wi-Fi is Broadcom. So similarly, it will not be that people who start first, they'll be leaders. IT era is over. Deep tech is where the next generation really has to focus.
You have to build products. India has to move from services.
What are those ingredients that will ensure that we make that transition?
When you're in services, and I spent some time in the service industry, you try to solve somebody else's problem. When you say product mindset is all about looking at the problem.
For the country like us, where we have largest population, I think the services will be one of the sectors. We can't eliminate that. And then the product will be the sector that creates the wealth of the nation. So these two should continue to coexist.
India is accelerating its push in the global quantum race, from building the nation's first superconducting quantum computer to securing critical digital infrastructure with quantum-safe encryption. At the forefront of the deep tech revolution are two Bengaluru-based startups. Hello and welcome to Young Turks Reloaded. I'm Shereen Bhan. Leading the charge in building India's quantum future are QpiAI with its full-stack quantum AI platforms and the country's most powerful 25 qubits system, and QNu Labs with its indigenous quantum communications technology safeguarding defense, government and enterprise networks. Today, we meet the men shaping India's national quantum mission roadmap, from taking quantum computing from lab to the market to ensuring that in the age of AI and quantum, India's data remains not just encrypted but unbreakable. I have with me today Nagendra Nagaraja, the founder and CEO of QpiAI, and Sunil Gupta, the co-founder and CEO of QNu Labs. Gentlemen, many thanks for joining us. To start with, my mind overnight has been on superpositions and quantum cryptography and quantum supremacy, but I want to break this down for our viewers so we really understand what we're talking about. You don't just wake up one morning and say, I want to disrupt quantum computing. I'll start by asking you, Nagendra, how did this come about? I mean, you were working with NVIDIA. You could have continued to do that. What made you want to bet on quantum computing and bet on it in India specifically?
Yes. One of the things I observed early part of my life is, of course, I was very interested in quantum physics. At NVIDIA, there was DeepMind, which was doing some experiment in 2012. And they were playing this Atari game using their new model called DQN, double DQN. Okay. So I thought AI would not stop, and that was the thing. I tried to design that chip using AI then. Okay, so then I tried to do a chip which is agent-based compute. I was too early for the time in 2016 where I coined the word agent-based compute. Okay, so now everybody knows what agents are, but this was a different thing. Other problem I saw is, as in this endeavor, I saw the classical way of doing AI is not going to be sustainable because it will consume a lot of energy. And of course, Google has really proved a point with their 2020 paper with Sycamore, where they told that what takes 26 kilowatt in quantum computer with 53 qubits would take around 15,000 kilowatt for classical one, and it consumes around 26,000 GPUs. Of course, people can call it as a bias towards quantum. Of course, it can do some workloads better. But we are knowledgeable that chemistry is quantum. All the chemical reactions are quantum. Materials are quantum, and also optimization is quantum. And there are things like drug discovery, which is quantum also. In finance, they are going to move towards quantum. So in that way, the next generation of intelligence modeling, which requires high-dimensional data, it does require quantum computers. So for my journey in AI, it took a turn to my earlier interest in quantum physics. Now I am into this form this quantum computer. In 2019, we formed this company with the aim to have better intelligence modeling, better intelligence compute.
When you said that, okay, this is what I want to do, this is my ambition, this is my aspiration, to get investors on board, forget investors, to get people to actually join the company, what was that experience like for you?
When I formed this, I named it QpiAI, Q for quantum, Pi for human agency. That's our team. Pi stands for our team, that is humans. And then there is AI, which is sandwiched. We are sandwiched between these two. And I'm very fortunate to attract a lot of good talent. There were almost like 25 PhDs who joined. We are 100 people now. Soon we'll be 200. And then we had revenues coming in. We had a marquee Fortune 500 customers. Okay, in that way, the journey was surprisingly, it was upticking all the time. And initially, when I started, it was only me. I used to be in office until 2 a.m. and do some things in AI and go back home, build a product. Then we got a national NASCAM award for Emerging 50 for AI. And then we got award in AI again with German Chambers of Commerce and also Mint Innovation Award. Then, of course, NQM backed us and SIDBI backed us. We built India's most powerful quantum computers. We were then around 20, 25 people, 30 people. We reached peak of 60. And then we started hiring more. Getting people was not difficult for me because all these people who are studying in foreign university, like for example, we got people from TU Delft, we got people from Stanford, or we got people from Stuttgart University. So there were talents, buckets of talent who want to come back.
So the brain gain is underway.
Yes.
And you expect that is going to pick up speed?
Absolutely. We are getting resumes who are really very accomplished and they have done it before across the world and they are coming back to the company. And because we are also setting up a foundry now, quantum foundry. So where these resources or these great minds can be deployed and we can achieve even bigger.
Sunil, the same question to you. When you finally decided that this is what you wanted to do, what was the initial reaction? I mean, was there belief, was there conviction from people that you spoke to that this, I'm going to do this, and did they back the idea? Did they support the idea?
So the way it started in 2016, when one of our co-founder, Srinivas Alluri, actually was a very successful venture capitalist.
Yes.
And he decided to start deep tech in India, but he didn't know how to do that. And that is when he also came across Professor Anil Prabhakar from IIT Madras, who had a technology, laser technology, and said, hey, we can build something in quantum tech. But that you have to solve a problem, not just
exactly.
The technology. So that is where I came in because I came from the cybersecurity background. I had done AI in cybersecurity in 2015-16. And I realized that being a cybersecurity professional, that even after spending billions of dollars, we are unable to solve the cybersecurity problem. And one of the reasons for that was that we were always using yesterday's technology to solve today's problem. And hackers are always ahead. So the only way we realized that we could solve this problem is if we create a technology gap, which means that if enterprises can get a technology, which is way ahead of time, before hackers get a technology to even try to break it, basically it's about bringing a future technology into present. If we can do that, then probably for the first time we are
ahead.
We are actually changing the paradigm of cybersecurity. And then another important point was in 2016, India started using cloud applications. We had Paytm, we had Taxi for Sure. People started using cloud applications. So it was very clear that 1 billion people coming onto digital applications.
There is a use case.
This means that digital trust is so important. And when we looked at digital trust, we found that we cannot build digital self buying technology from outside. So we saw that probably a confluence of quantum science, national security imperatives, and digital sovereignty probably can give us the solution that we were looking for.
You're talking about national security, data sovereignty. These are things that are now capturing mind space and headlines. They were certainly not doing that in 2016. It was not that much of a priority even.
Absolutely.
Even as far as the government is concerned. I mean, the quantum mission itself was born in 2023. So, how have you seen the response and the reaction change to a company like yours now that this is being prioritized, not just in India, but globally as well?
When we started, we decided one thing is very clear, that we can't wait for consensus. We can't wait for people to agree to us. And so we said, We're going to build conviction before consensus. And conviction comes from when you really take a technology, build prototypes, take to the market. So we divided our journey into 4 pieces. We said proof of science, proof of tech, proof of business, and proof of scale. So our conviction will come when we do proof of science and proof of tech. So we brought a like-minded people who said, Sunil, okay, this is the roadmap, go ahead and build it, we are with you. But idea was that once we get the first order, commercial order, which means that somebody pays us to buy our product, that's the time when we go to a venture world and say.
And the first order was not from India. The first order was from the Middle East.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Actually, we got a call at our front desk, right? And I always come early. So
you answered that call?
No, the security guy came and said there's a call at the front desk. So I went and picked up the call, and there's a guy on the end and said, "Yeah, we are from they're from the Saudi." This thing said, "Hey, we are here in Bangalore. We are looking at the quantum tech companies. We want to come and talk to you." And we closed. That was the shortest deal for us. We closed the deal in 15 days.
You know, Nagendra, what has that been like for you in terms of building recognition for the product and getting clients on board as well? And you know, it's not just tech for the sake of tech. You have to be able to solve problems. Now, what are the key problems that you're hoping to solve as far as QpiAI Labs are concerned?
See, yeah, the vision is intact when I started earlier, intelligence modeling, intelligence compute. We're very fortunate to get our first few clients, including, L'Oreal and Siemens. Siemens was our first client. We did a lot of joint project with that. And then we got clients across India and also abroad. Okay, so that's a recognition we got from German Chambers of Commerce, because we had 2 big customers from Germany, which was Mercedes-Benz and
So
Siemens.
what exactly are you doing for them?
Oh, we were doing for Mercedes-Benz, we were doing modeling. Okay, Siemens, we were doing AI and AI modeling. Then we worked with the largest cosmetic company to give them a sunscreen, filter, UV rays, okay, UV filter. And then we're also working with one of the biggest pharma companies to actually have the discovery of drug. We also got order from Department of Telecommunication. And then slowly our order book keep on increasing. Now we are at around close to around 1,000 crores. And we built first quantum computer. Now we're installing quantum computers across the universities for education. And then we are also building a quantum computer which can be commercially deployed in our enterprise customers. That means commercially in the sense, it will be a workhorse for day-to-day activities like in chemicals, in materials. And then there is a lot of business model we can branch off. We can do a solutioning, we can do software licensing, we can build infrastructure for them, including the quantum computer on their premises.
But you know, the point about building the supercomputer here, and I want to understand what it took to be able to not just imagine that you could do it, but to finally then do it as well.
Absolutely.
Because I think there's a lot of questions on, can India do it? Can we do our own chips? What will it take to do deep tech in India? Now, this is completely designed, developed, manufactured in India,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
What was that like?
Oh, that was fascinating because we took almost like 3 years to build a hardware. See, we had 2 teams, one which was generating revenues and one which was doing the deep R&D. And these are the people who are PhDs who came from abroad, and they started doing all this chip design and planning for the foundry and controller which controls the quantum computer. It's a microwave device. So we did that first device and we built all the software that is required for quantum, like system software and application software. Then we finally assembled when we got our first pre-series A, that is $6.5 million. We put together the quantum computer.
So how long did it take to build the computer?
For quantum computer, we took around 1.5 years.
Okay. Take me through when it actually came together. What was that like, and what has been the response that you got from the world to that?
One of the biggest encouragement, of course, NQM. They were very happy. And of course, people around us, and they're all very happy to have a quantum computer, working quantum computer. It's not like just for scientific characterization. It's working. The way it was so exciting was when the fridge came. Fridge was from Blueforce, and we did fabricate outside. We didn't have the fab here. So the thing is, when the fridge came, people were on the truck from the airport, Bangalore airport to office. One person who was a lead, hardware lead. It was a VP of hardware. He took next to truck driver to show, because the clearance from SCZ and all those things has to happen. And we were all waiting in the basement for this to arrive. And Blueforce team came from Finland, and they installed everything. And that moment, it was unbelievable. Okay, finally we have this here. Because we were waiting for 3 years. Okay, finally we took the quantum computer, it was assembled, we bought it up now. And the bigger moment will be for us will be next few years when we fabricate it here in India, design and fabricate it in Bangalore.
And that moment is a couple of years down the line?
No,
or
next year.
Next year.
The fabrication we are doing at 40,000 square feet land. We have totally office space around 50, 55, 60,000 square feet. And then we are acquiring 10 acres land. That is for very different purpose. The land we are doing is a fab. We are building the fab. Okay, so the next one what we are doing is we are building what we call it as Quantum Supremacy Centre. It will be real world supremacy. It will not be designed experiment. We will be working on real world problems like, for example, weather forecasting, meteorology. So we want to see in next 5-6 years some results that really contribute to society.
Yeah, speaking of problems, Sunil, and I want to understand from you, while you are born in India for the world, and that is the aspiration as far as QNu Labs is concerned, but what about the India market is exciting at this point in time? I mean, we've seen this digital explosion, especially as far as digital payments, etc., is concerned with UPI and, what the NPCI has managed to do. Explain to me the significance of what you're seeing in India and the kinds of solutions that you're being able to provide, not just for India, but using India as a sort of test case, as a use case for the world.
Yeah. So I think that today in a hyper-connected digital world, we say that our data is actually in a paradox, in the manner that it is safe at one end, but that it is also at risk at the same time.
Yeah.
Until unless it is hacked. So it is not safe. I mean, it is we call it a dual state, it always. And we realize that we are trying to solve problem, world's trying to solve problem in two different ways. One way is the people trying to solve, we call it malware protection. People buy so many software, put their, virus, antivirus software.
Yes.
Basically, what you're trying to say is who is trying to come into my house, who is trying to attack me, and I'm trying to protect that. Now, hackers, advanced hackers with AI and all, they need only one single success, to get in. So instead of spending our time and energy there, we felt that at the end of the day, hackers are behind data and information. And the only way to secure that is through encryption. We call it, whoever controls the encryption controls the world. And we said, instead of spending our time and energy in all other superfluous areas, which we should still invest there, what if we make encryption unbreakable? Which means that even if a hacker comes in, steals my data, but he can't do anything with it. So the incentive for him to come and hack my house or hack my servers and
there is no incentive.
There is no incentive. So we said, can we take a ransom out of ransomware? I can't protect ransomware. But so what we did is, we are in the business of QNu. We said we are going to build the encryption key. So encryption is two parts. Encryption is on a lock where you actually encrypt the data. And the other is you use a key. So key is what everybody hacks. So what we said, we are going to use quantum physics to build unbreakable keys, encryption keys, which has no bias. We'll distribute these keys wherever it is needed in network, endpoints, cloud, edge. Wherever it's needed, we'll deliver those keys. And once those keys are used for encryption, we'll store those keys securely in a vault that nobody can hack there. Now by doing this, we actually built a very powerful capability for enterprises, for defense and so on. Now what it means is, I don't care about anybody, because as long as my data is encrypted using quantum keys, it is unbreakable. Even quantum computer, most powerful quantum computer,
he can't break into you.
Till the time the people don't encrypt it, he can break it. Yeah. But once it is encrypted using my quantum tech, that's what we call quantum safe encryption.
And so I would imagine that the government, defense forces...
is already deployed.
It's already deployed,
Yes.
And this will continue to be the big
Yes.
adopter as far as this technology is concerned. Where else do you see this being adopted?
So we seeing this multiple
Financial
use
services,
cases,
of
financial
course.
services,
Yeah.
payment gateways, telecom infrastructure. One of the largest telecom player is now trying to build a sort of a very interesting concept. He has already an optical fibers network with him. He's saying, how can I put quantum encryption as a service on top of optical fiber and offer it as a quantum security as a service? If you have to use this quantum security as a service, we have built a platform so the enterprises can use it as a service. So now what has happened is democratize the whole technology. Instead of the defense, some of the other critical infrastructure, they will buy our hardware. We have a very special purpose hardware which has more than 10 patents. Army, our Indian Army, Armed Forces, they are buying infrastructure of boxes and they're installing it in the network. But other enterprise players like banks, telecom,
will get on board with the software service.
they will buy my Q Shield platform, we call it. So they will host that platform in their data center and offer quantum secure services to the clients.
So they don't necessarily need to invest in the infrastructure
They do that, or we can host it and they can run the
for them.
platform.
Yeah.
This is the first of its kind in the world. Just because we're two head, we have seen problems in India, we found use cases. We built India world's first end-to-end quantum security SaaS platform.
It's the world's first
Yes.
India developed quantum security SaaS platform.
I went into US and presented this to few investors there, and they were little, I would say
Skeptical?
not convinced
Huh.
in the beginning, but after some time they said we haven't heard this story anywhere. So that was the moment for me that India has arrived, right? So because something from India, we're taking a story to Silicon Valley.
So the India moment has arrived.
India moment, yes.
But
So
you know, since we are talking about India and its role and relevance in what we're seeing, whether it's the AI wars or now as far as quantum technology is concerned, where are we? Because again, the perception is that look, the US is far ahead. China is significantly ahead, especially as far as quantum, etc., is concerned. Where does India find itself today?
US and China, undeniably, they are ahead. See, what happens in this kind of technology is, I'll give you an example of a few companies which have started. When the graphics companies were there, there were 80 graphics companies, only 2 survived. Okay, the race is still on. So they got a head start, it's fine. Okay, but the thing is...
Can we catch up?
Absolutely, yes. That's why we exist, actually.
But how do we do things differently? Because obviously you can't play the same game with the kind of head start that they have. So what do we do that's different in order for us to be able to catch up and create our own space and niche?
Absolutely. See, one of the things what's happening is quantum is a space where it requires a lot of creativity. Well, one of the things what we demonstrated is this is an era of DeepSeeks and QpiAIs. The reason is DeepSeek have done that a fraction of a cost, a foundation model. We have built a computer at a fraction of a cost. Then the possibility is...
What makes that possible? And, you know, and while we can argue about what is the actual number that DeepSeek has been able to develop this LLM for, etc., that's a separate story. But I think there is acknowledgement and consensus on the fact that they have been able to do it at a significantly lower cost.
Yes.
My question to you is, what makes that happen? I mean, we've heard this ISRO story as well, that India's been able to do things at a much lower cost. What makes your supercomputer so much more affordable and hence hopefully more accessible?
See, we are at the right time, first thing is. Okay, so I'll give an example that, there was an inventor of Wi-Fi. They did all the research, that's Bell Labs. Okay, and who became a leader in Wi-Fi is Broadcom, right? So similarly, it's not be that people who start first, they'll be leaders. So what really is required is to have that innovative mindset. Okay. So I would say that there, I think we have a level playing field. See, although you can say that, okay, AI, they are ahead, quantum, they are ahead of semiconductor, but nobody can deny that Indians are very creative. What happens in quantum is there are quantum mechanics. To some point, we know how it works. After below that point, nobody knows how it works. So there is a lot of depth. See, what we are touching is just a tip of an iceberg. The iceberg is really big and it's a long journey for us. We have to endure. What we have to do is, I can tell you to win this race or to be a major player here, we have to build a companies which are enduring, which can take this brutal journey and really get some output for society. See, another thing what happens is when you prepare yourself well, which we are doing it now because a lot of geopolitics and all those things. Maybe that may be also a factor which will lead us to innovate better.
Lead you to innovate better and perhaps also be an accelerator for companies like yours.
Absolutely, yes.
So let's address that. The current state of play as far as the world is concerned, geopolitics, the way that it's playing out, where you don't know whether your friends from yesterday will remain your friends tomorrow or not. Does that accelerate the journey for companies like yours?
Yeah, of course. This it does because, and also we have to change strategy. I'll give you an example. While he's building hardware, I'm also building hardware. We know that we are dependent on components from outside. We don't have those. And we realized that a few years ago, when we started building some of the sub-assemblies, indigenizing ourselves, only to de-risk the supply chain. And I think that is where he's saying that we, probably as an entrepreneurs, not only have to fix the technology, we have to look at far ahead in the future and saying what type of risk that will come up and build our strategies to mitigate those. So we started building those component assemblies to de-risk ourselves. And so you see what happened a month ago. Even the NATO countries decided not to give quantum computer to each other. Forget about non-NATOs and NATO country. Quantum computers and computing tech is one of the most precious technology in the world. Whoever will get it will be the king, because they will be able to solve problems that nobody else can, whether it's a financial model, whether it's a faster drug discoveries, finding new materials, they will be the king. This is going to be a quantum war, right? Which means somebody who gets the technology, they will not share with everybody else. It is given.
So now you're completely
Building
localized?
tech, we are totally off. Perhaps still some components, we still are dependent on that, but we are continuously working on this. Idea here is not only to be independent of them, we will actually turn the tide by saying that we will be the global supplier of this tech to everybody. And that's what India has to do.
What will it take for India, for companies like yours to become the global suppliers in fields like quantum technology in the future? What are we talking about? The next 5 years, the next 10 years?
So quantum computer will probably take a little bit more time, but quantum communication, we are already there. We are, other than China, we are at par, if not ahead of everybody else in the world. We are ahead of United States, we are ahead of even Israel. Because the companies from those countries have approached us to acquire us or to invest in us, right? So we know the status of the technology.
So you're the king.
So I would say I'm the kingmaker.
You're the kingmaker.
So we are the trust enabler. We help our customers, enable them with the new trust that we are building for them, and through that we will build probably a lot of partnerships. And so I think there's a great opportunity for India. With China out, India can be the global supplier of this tech to the world.
Well,
right?
Speaking of opportunities, and I want to address this with you as well, we're seeing export restrictions. We're now seeing deals being done at the White House to say that if you're going to export your chips to China, then we want a certain percentage of your revenues and so on and so forth. Whether it's the AI wars or the quantum wars, how do we prepare ourselves to be a leader in the future?
Yeah. See, one of the fortunate thing for us is India as a country. So we have a lot of friends abroad, okay, and all of them would require the tech. Everybody has data, right? All the countries have data. Now the thing is, you require a technology to solve that, and nobody has technology. So that technology will come when we have something called as fault-tolerant qubits. Okay, so when we have the fault-tolerant qubit, this is a universal agreement across the academia. If you have 150 fault-tolerant qubits where error rate is 10 power minus 6 or less, that is 1 in billion is error. Currently the error rate is 10 power minus 2 or 10 power minus 3. 1 in 100 or 1 in 1000 is error. So that's the same error rate that IBM has. That's the same error rate what we have, and a lot of other superconducting manufacturer. Once we arrive at that, then a lot of doors opens for the innovator who has done that.
And how far are we from arriving at that?
Yes. So we have a roadmap of 2029 where we'll have 100 logical qubits, QpiAI, which is completely fabricated and made in India. Okay, that would open up, that's a very, very important technology that entire Asia can have. Okay, of course, China is also ahead. They are at 503 qubits. We'll be at 64 qubit this year, which is noisy. And we'll have around 256 qubit by 2027. So basically, race is very even here. But where it gets interesting is the way we can break that noise barrier and really enter into a fault-tolerant qubits. Once we have those fault-tolerant qubits, I think our institutions like defense uses, and then you have things like metrology, which is very important, okay, and things like your agriculture department, they use it to better produce a better yield for the food.
I want to understand from the two of you, because as a layperson, you pointed out that AI has been around since the 70s and so on and so forth. But from a common man's perspective, the real breakout moment happened when ChatGPT exploded, and it came out of nowhere. I mean, nobody expected the kind of reaction and response that we saw for ChatGPT, and it's just built on that. I mean, forget the valuations. We're actually seeing real adoption. India is the largest market now for that. Are we likely to be anywhere close to having a ChatGPT-like moment as far as quantum tech is concerned?
So I will just add to what he said. QNu built a technology where we can actually set up a 200-kilometer point-to-point secure networks.
Okay.
Which even China has about 70 and 80 kilometers on optical fiber. Right? Of course, they have succeeded on the satellite, which we don't have today. So we have built technology in a manner, because we started doing long time ago, that today we can build quantum safe network better than anybody else in the world. And the idea was, because we have spent so much time building security and building the tech hardware, today we can actually set up very long distance networks that people want, but they don't have the technology in the world. Now today, for example, India has got capability to establish a safe networks over optical fibers. We can secure drones. We can secure satellite networks. We can secure Wi-Fi networks. So you take in any media, and our technology is ready where we can secure and we call it quantum Q-shield dome. So in our vision, what we are trying to do, we are building a quantum dome for India so that we are protected from any AI or quantum attack in the future.
A quantum dome for India. And are we there, or
yeah, we are already.
We're already there.
70% of the pieces already exist. They are right now. We're deploying them in pieces, but eventually, idea is that put them all together, and we do. Today, we protect like armed forces networks, optical fiber networks. We are now trying to implement our technology in drones. We have already demonstrated that to armed forces. Our first satellite with our tech on this going to go out, being launched by Starlink in end of August.
That's interesting, and that's also good to know, because I think in the era that we live in, that kind of protection is absolutely necessary. But as I was asking the two of you, when do we see that kind of breakout moment when when there is a large-scale conviction on what you're attempting? I mean, you're a believer. You've seen the results for yourself. But for the world to become a believer in what you're doing, what will it take for that to happen?
See, the world is still looking for a killer application, and everybody is in search. And I always say to my team as well that we are on the dartboard, but haven't hit the bullseye yet. And everybody is waiting for that moment. It is a quest. We have to keep doing it. We are now today, for example, we have a quantum safe VPNs. Any VPN, we can build a quantum safe. We can build quantum safe messaging. We have replaced the WhatsApp that we use, which is where the messages are stored in the cloud by a third party. We have built our own Indian WhatsApp type of, which is end-to-end quantum safe.
Okay.
And all the messages can be stored in our server in our country.
But that's not commercialized.
That's commercial, yeah. So idea is that when the human is touched, what you call a user, feels the experience and the security in his hand, when the quantum tech will be there in the mobile phones, it's there in the everyday application that they use.
Yeah.
That is the moment that...
That's exactly what I was going to ask you. Like, quantum laptops, mobile phones. I mean...
It's already happening. Mobile phones is already getting in there. As we speak, laptops are being built where our quantum chip is getting into the laptops.
Okay.
Satellite will... So what I'm telling you is a work in progress, and it's not a year ago.
Not years away.
It is just about a few months away.
Just a few months away. So this killer app moment,
it could happen. ChatGPT, it could happen anytime.
It could happen anytime. What's the expectation? What are you betting on?
Worldwide, you will not know first ChatGPT moment of quantum because it will be kept secret. Okay, so you will only know when some popular application becomes known to us. Like for example, somebody solved a fertilizer problem. You know that. But somebody actually decoding some of the secrets of the nature, you will not know. What we can do from quantum computer is almost unlimited. And ChatGPT being a B2C space, it is very popular. But quantum computing, when it becomes very powerful, only few things you will come to know about that.
You've got the government on board as a stakeholder now. They picked up equity through the Quantum Mission. Do you see that as an advantage, or perhaps could be a liability in the future, especially as countries become more and more inward looking? Also, data sovereignty, national security plays a more crucial aspect in decision making. Do you see that as then being an issue, perhaps?
Very good question. So I think right now I believe that support of government is a positive
an advantage,
thing,
yeah.
Because we need market to be open up. We need policy words are there with you, government support to build policy to adopt quantum encryption, for example, right? We are doing it for RBI, SEBI, and so on. So I think right now government support to open up the market, build policies, provide more policy tailwinds, so that this can become bigger and bigger for us, right? So my view is that right now it is supportive, and of course the funds. So we have built some level of conviction through our hard work, our technology, and so on. Government endorsement is another layer of conviction which is very important right now, right? But as we go along, we become bigger. Their aspirations will get bigger. Then probably I'm very hopeful that government will probably come out and support us even in our future endeavors. And even if, let's say, we want to go IPO or we want to do something else, I think I'm very positive with the current government and their vision.
Talking about the immediate next steps, of course, you have a roadmap of what the
Yes.
company could potentially look like 10 years on. But in the next few years, what are the milestones that you want to achieve?
To let you answer the first question on the government, there is no quantum company in the world that has not received government aid. And of course, it doesn't mean that we are not going to do the enterprise application. There will be two kinds of applications with quantum computing as such. One is really a mission critical application which is required for the society. This is the first time we're going to have this kind of application. And the second application is for our enterprises. So the first application, we have to work with government. See, because it's a government data, metrology, right? And if you want to do something on the fertilizer, we have to work with government labs, so the chemicals. And then there are hospitals we have to work with to make sure that we have a precision medicine. So government is a long-term partner for this kind of ventures. And at the same time, the large enterprises, like you have somebody who want to build a massive data center to solve one of the critical application. So they will be our bigger partner, like for example, L&T, right? Coming to the second question on the milestone. So the milestone is very simple for us. We have to execute integrating more and more qubits, manufacturing less and less noisy-free qubits, and attaining the commercial application. So with that, what happens is we would have discovered something we don't know right now. See, the journey itself is like, it's mostly like it's a development plus discovery. So that journey, when we have done with the smart people, it will be leading to something which is very valuable for society. So that's how I look for the future right now.
So as people who are watching this program, and for young engineers who are looking at opportunities in the future, and anyway, now everybody's talking about now AI is there. Who needs an engineer? So what do you tell them? And really, what are you seeing happen in this ecosystem in India today that gives you hope that we could? And both of you are convinced that we will not just be players, we have the potential to be leaders in this space. What gives you the hope in what you're seeing in this ecosystem?
See, I looked into what happened in Y2K, the time when I started my career, when there was a bug, and that's when IT took off because they wanted to fix a bug. They wanted a lot of engineers. Now, when quantum comes, what happens is you do require a lot of quantum literate people who can really program quantum computers. Okay, it's not going to be like, of course, AI can do a lot of things. We are using agents to even manufacture quantum computers, manufacture qubits. So that will be there, but then we do require the workforce. It cannot be done in void.
But we need the right skilled people.
Absolutely, because when IT came, what you required was a computer literate engineers, right? So who can program. And that's how Indian IT took off. Similarly, since because of National Quantum Mission and company like us, maybe we will produce ecosystem where programming will become very important, and the jobs will be created.
Same we are doing that. We have launched QNu Academy, idea to build 50,000 students, quantum literate, quantum ready workforce. Yeah. If we don't do that in the next 2 to 3 years, then India will lose out.
So the window of opportunity is not very long.
Yeah, and we have gone and partnered with about 20 universities in India and setting up the quantum lab there.
So what are the 5 things that people must know about quantum technology, why it's important for the future, where India finds itself, and what companies like yours will do to disrupt this space? I want to start with you, Sunil.
I think everybody has to, this is a different tech. So everybody has to understand and spend some time understanding and learning about it. People probably have to understand that how this is the application of this tech for them. The future world is going to be quantum and AI. Everybody has to figure out that what is in for them in terms of either to learn or what type of application and technology they would use.
Nagendra?
So difference between many countries when compared to India when IT started was India was able to latch on to IT. They were a good programmers, software programmers, and they were able to program. If you look at the mirror image of that, look into Japan. It was a giant. It was one of the largest tech countries in the world. So what happens there is they missed out on open source. So similarly, this is a movement where it will separate out the countries which latched on to adapt it to it and then mutate and to become something else and something like quantum literate, and they can catch on the technology and do many applications. Our wish is really the coming generations, they are very interested in this kind of technology, deep tech, which has real impact, and they start really working a little bit harder See, I would emphasize that hard work is very important. Okay, we do require more engineers who are into deep tech now. IT era is over. Okay, but then
IT era is over.
over in the sense not a peak of them. So it will continue to have its own thing, but the growth is decelerated for first time. If that era is slowing down, India require a better growth. The vehicle for this, right? We have huge population. We are most populous country in the world, and strategically for us, the deep tech is where the next generation really has to focus. The deep tech is really a lot of hard work. Of course, it is a lot of hard work, but it is rewarding because once you obtain the breakthrough, it cannot be easily replaced. So we can build this is a time when we can build a solid business serving local ecosystem.
You have to build products.
Products.
India has to move from services. Services will continue. AI will also be there. But what India needs future is to build a product nation, as Dr. Rajesh always says.
But
right?
what are the big deterrents to making that shift from being a services nation to a product nation? Because I think that's the big issue at this point in time.
Success stories are the first thing, right? We have to say it is possible in India. And that's what we are trying to do, to show people that it's tough, difficult, but it's possible in India. Well, a lot of people say that it's not possible in India, which is not true, right? It's possible in India. But I think this government is also trying to support through funding and so on.
Also, I mean, and I'll ask both of you this, because in this shift from services to becoming a product nation, what is the shift that we need in terms of mindset? There is, of course, a shift that we need in terms of capital deployment as well. There's a shift that we need in terms of R&D. What will it take what are those ingredients that will ensure that we make that transition?
So I think the most important part is that when you're in services, and I spent some time in the service industry, you try to solve somebody else's problem. When you say product mindset is all about looking at the problems, identifying the problems, and then, for example, we saw an opportunity, we saw a problem, a future problem for India. We said, this must be solved. So when you look at a problem, then you try to find solutions. And then when you try to find solutions, you definitely have to build a sustainable solution. And that is where the product, platform, and everything come. It starts from the idea about
identifying the problem itself, not somebody outsourcing their
problem and solving. That's what we did. The IT industry largely solved somebody else's problems, right? And that is the reason the skills like product management, very, very critical. Architecture skills, design skills. We do have design skills. We do designs for others. But identifying problem, relating to the use case, and then trying to solve it for the large. We always say that problem should be such that it should be serious enough problem and should be big enough, so that it can solve mass. It can help
and have a wide and deep impact. What will it take to become a product nation?
The difference between a product and services is, I'll just start with one on and let's extend what need to be done. So basically, you have ownership. It's your problem, as you said, right? And other thing is, when we start off with a product company, right? So the result has to come after some time, because you have to work for really getting it to be usable. So the services will be usable from day one. Okay, you get revenues and all those things. But then for accountant, it looks good. But somebody, for an investor or somebody like entrepreneur,
so they have to be patient capital.
Patient capital, and also the entrepreneur himself has to make sure that he sticks to his vision and really creates value. See, the products are about creating a very sustainable value with scalable and sustainable value. For the country like us, where we have largest population, I think the services will be one of those sectors. We can't eliminate that, but it's a very important sector, services. And then the product will be the sector that creates the wealth of the nation. So these two should continue to coexist. To do a product, we need to take the ownership. That means it's your product, and basically you have to have a roadmap. You have to have a continuity, business continuity for your customers. When you have a product, also in services, the customer depends on you heavily. But in services, what happens is the replaceability is easy, at least in short to medium term. The product replaceability, when you go to you just put something on the enterprise usage, it's not easy to replace. Nobody can replace easily your Amazon cloud or Azure data center.
When we do products, services, the risk is customers, right? Here you have to take risk. Right? So risk-taking ability, right, is very, very important, and your ability to handle the failures. How do we celebrate failures? because product you'll fail. And a lot of time when we hire people, sometimes we ask them this question, right? Can you handle failure? Because we expect you to fail at times, right? Because it's a very long, tedious
and brutal journey as he mentioned.
And we do a lot of deep R&D, right? We will do a lot of things which will not work.
Yeah.
Right? Which is okay. We do experiments, we have hypotheses, we fail on we say the hypothesis not worked. We learn from that and move forward.
Yeah.
So ability to take failure in your stride and ability to work for long hours, very hard work, and take risk is very,
so
very
70
critical.
hours, 90 hours is a given, right?
Don't even count that, please.
No,
You don't
there's
even
no hours. There's no
You
concept
just need
of
to
hours.
enjoy that. Okay, don't count
As
it.
an enterprise is 24/7. You are always there, right? Always in the zone, right? It's not about hours, right? It is always being that when your heart and mind is in it, then boundary of hour doesn't make sense.
I agree. I agree with you. So finally, let me ask both of you, because that's very interesting that you said you have to have the risk-taking ability, but you also have to have the resilience to rebound from a setback,
Absolutely.
to rebound from a
Absolutely.
failure.
Very fair.
What has been the mantra for you to build that muscle?
If you have the clarity of the vision that what you're looking at, you will have failures, but you're glued to your goal and vision. They'll say, okay, I'll rise up and go forward because you're looking, you have the clarity of your vision, right? And that is what gives you the courage. If you can get confused and you don't know what you are doing and you fail, you don't know what to do, and the people quit their vision.
So you've got to be like Arjun.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, you have to be on the bird's eye.
Right?
Okay,
Which
when
is
you
not
have
very easy, to
forest,
be honest with you.
I can imagine.
Tonight is
I
not.
can imagine.
At times you get doubts and so on,
Yeah.
but you sit back and think about it and say, yeah, but this is not my goal. My goal is still there, and I find an alternate way to get there, right? And that's what the resilience is all about.
one of the most important aspect apart from vision is the leadership. See what happens when you build something like this. See, I don't know what clarity means. When you have a vision, only you know the vision. You have a picture of that. How do you reach there will not be clear all the time. But you know where you want to reach. You know the imagination. So with that imagination, you need to lead set of people. So that leadership is very important in a product company. Okay, where you can lead your investors, your employees, your customers, and make sure that they all buy into your vision. Everybody is focused on reaching that vision. If at all, one of the factors will determine India's product or a deep tech story is really how many good leaders we have in deep tech.
What is your leadership mantra?
My leadership mantra is usually what I do is I keep on iterating the vision of where we have to reach. If, for example, I can say that first few years when we have the people, they told like, I want a dilution fridge. Then I want a quantum computer here. But we are not finding the building where I can put quantum computers. Okay, then I have to search the building, and I was very fortunate for my team. They all went together and we found one building in Bangalore where they gave us 150 kilowatt hour power. But until then, I have to keep those people very patient. So honesty is another thing. You have to be very honest with your employees, very honest with your customers, very honest with your investors. Okay, so once they start trusting you and you start delivering, you will slowly start moving towards that vision. So to take everybody in your journey is very important. That's the most important thing in a product or deep tech companies.
Is to have the clarity of purpose, the clarity of vision, the resilience to actually be able to execute on that
Yes.
vision, and to take everybody along.
Yeah.
To have a lot of passion, patience, and
Absolutely.
perseverance as well.
Yes.
Well, we wish you both the very best of luck. You told me at the start of the program that your vision was that whether good or bad, you want it to be a story. You are a story today.
Thank you so much.
And I hope you will be a very successful story,
Thank
and
you.
I hope you will be a very successful
Good story.
as well. Thank you so much for joining us here on
Thanks,
the Young
Shereen.
Turks
Thank you so much.
podcast.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Shereen.
your
Thank you for
time.
having us.
Well, I hope this conversation gave you a glimpse into the world of quantum technology, where India finds itself, but more importantly, how do we transition from being a services nation to being a product nation? The two founders that you heard from today are certainly hoping to leverage on their capabilities, the capital that they've managed to get, as well as their differentiation to make a difference in the world. From all of us here on the Young Turks team, we hope that you enjoyed watching this program. If you have feedback, comments and suggestions, do write to us. We always like to hear from you. We'll see you again next week with more exciting stories. Till then, goodbye. Thanks for watching.